Johannes Vermeer was a painter who lived in the 17th century during what was arguably the most thrilling era of art history, a period sometimes referred to as the Golden Age of Painting, the same era that gave us Rembrandt and Frans Hals. Vermeer was born in Delft in 1632, one of 9 children. His father, a prosperous silk merchant, died when Johannes was 10, leaving his mother to raise the kids on her own. And by all accounts, she did a pretty good job. One of Vermeer's brothers became a painter, as did 2 of his sisters. At 14, Vermeer was apprenticed to a local painter named Karel, probably in the hope that he too would make something of himself. Women were generally safe subjects to paint because they were confined to the home. Another popular subject for genre scenes were peasants in the landscape, but Vermeer rarely painted peasants. He was more interested in what goes on behind closed doors, hence the popularity of the Dutch Golden Age, a period in which the arts flourished due to a loosening of social constraints. During this time, art was made about and for everyone, not just the wealthy elite. In fact, there's only one known example, a single peasant woman standing in a field holding a field tool. But there are landscapes in Vermeer's painting. But unlike his contemporaries, few of his works were hung on walls by wealthy patrons. Today, Vermeer is universally admired, and his work can be found in major museums around the world. It would be up to future generations to appreciate Vermeer's genius. Most famously, there's the large windows in the background of the geographer. Men, on the other hand, could travel, go to war, sail around the world, basically do anything that would get them killed. So if you wanted to be historically accurate, your male subjects had to be dead. The soft, even lighting that bathes many of his scenes in a warm glow gives them a timeless, almost dreamlike quality. For example, Woman in Blue, reading a letter, possibly the first painting ever to feature a woman reading a letter. Before Vermeer, women who read letters were usually men's servants. This painting signals a shift in thinking, perhaps a sign of the times. Look at the milkmaid. Where would you be without that soft light? Gone is the coziness. Gone is the intimacy. It's like a blow dryer in a bathroom. Without it, it's just not the same. That's why most male figures in Vermeer's paintings are musicians, an indoor activity that kept them alive. But for whatever reason, Vermeer didn't follow in his mentor's footsteps. Instead, at 21, he abandoned painting and joined a religious sect known as the Mennonites, becoming one of them, and that he was an avid music lover who played the lute and the violin. It was also during this time that he started painting again, producing most of his known work. Unfortunately, only 36 of these paintings have survived to the present day. Strict rules, which included not making or owning portraits, which may explain why none of Vermeer's known paintings are portraits. In particular, it was from Rembrandt that Vermeer likely learned how to use light to create mood and convey meaning. However, unlike Rembrandt, Vermeer's approach was more restrained. There's less drama in Vermeer's work, less movement, more stillness. But after 5 years, Vermeer left the fold and returned to painting. He married the daughter of a well-to-do Delft family, and together they had 15 children. We don't know much about Vermeer's life, but we do know that he was financially successful in his day. He made enough money to buy a house and leave his wife well provided for in his will. In fact, his widow was able to live comfortably for the rest of her life without having to paint. We also know that Vermeer was a member of the local militia, an important civic duty in those days. Vermeer was clearly influenced by the great masters who came before him, such as Johannes Vermeer, Peter de Hooch, and Rembrandt. Vermeer was a master of painting domestic interiors, often featuring women engaged in everyday activities, such as writing letters or playing music. The subject matter of Vermeer's paintings were considered genre scenes, essentially paintings of everyday life. Vermeer wasn't really interested in depicting the outside world, but now let's talk about Vermeer's technique. What makes his paintings so captivating is the way he uses light. In general, Vermeer favored small canvases and modest domestic interiors with a modest number of figures, usually just 1 or 2. Like other Dutch painters of the Golden Age, Vermeer painted what he knew. He was a bourgeois painter, painting bourgeois subjects. After his death in 1675, his work was largely forgotten until it was rediscovered in the 19th century.